There had been a Star Wars Revenge of the Sith game released in 2005 not just for the consoles and handhelds of those times, but also for mobile phones. A lot of Java-based phone games don't have a great reputation, and honestly I find that undeserved. There were a lot of pretty fun titles. Though Revenge of the Sith for phones doesn't help my case at all, and that's why in what is going to be one of the shortest reviews using the Stasocritic scoring system yet. Let's start with design. The design category has a weight of 4 because gameplay is extremely important in any game. What is also important is the ability to finish it, and you literally can't finish Revenge of the Sith without finding a cheat code that gives you unlimited force powers. Well, I suppose technically it should be possible. Here's the problem though. You can damage bosses only with a special move that takes up all your force power which you generate by making hits, even if those hits are blocked. If Count Dooku on level 1 can be killed in one such special move, Grievous on level 3 needs 2. And sure, it's reasonable to think that if you just block and hit, eventually you will get enough force power to generate that second special move that can kill the boss. Except that Grievous also has attacks that are unblockable and are activated on random intervals. And let me tell you, while the controls in this game respond just fine, it is still not quite a straightforward matter to dodge. I was hellbent on defeating Grievous the honorable way without cheating. Well, let's just say that 30 minutes later I give up on that task. That's really all that's needed to know about the game, considering that otherwise the levels are really uninteresting and are just a collection of straight platforms on various heights. Enemies are just there. All this is why I'm going to assign a 1 for design. Revenge of the Sith for phones technically is not broken, but it might as well be. Let's move on to context. This category has a weight of 1 as it's about things that enhance the experience but don't necessarily define it. Story, plot, motivation, and so on. And the best you can say about Revenge of the Sith is that thanks to some text before missions and a couple of dialogues, you'll have a more or less vague understanding of what's going on. And based on my criteria, that's enough to assign a 3. And that's really only because everything is so broadly vague that there is nothing you can call particularly bad for a 2. Quickly moving on to aesthetics. This is another category with a weight of 1, this time about enhancing the experience through visual style, sounds, music. Well, Revenge of the Sith has okay graphics, okay animation, one total piece of Star Wars music. And that's enough for it to get assigned a 4. It's fine, I guess. Moving even quicker to cohesion. This category has a weight of 2 as it's about how well everything is connected into a wholesome experience. Revenge of the Sith is a game. That's literally everything I can say, which is why I assign a 5, again simply because as a whole it doesn't do anything that would make it feel worse than just being a game. Now let's talk about emotions. This is the most subjective part of Stasocritic, but it has the second biggest weight, 3, as it's all about personal feelings that ultimately matter a lot. Now, you might be asking, why am I making this video? It's a game that I don't like, it's a game that doesn't have anything interesting to talk about, it's the definition of a hastily made, absolutely forgettable title. And that's exactly why there's a separate video for it. Look, the thing about games is that somebody was making them, which means that there are people who have spent irreplaceable time from their lives to ensure that this mobile phone game comes out, and I'm sure that the developers themselves wished for more time to bring out a higher quality game. The least I can do, even though I was absolutely bored, which is why I would assign it 3 to emotions, is to make sure that some of the titles that would otherwise be forgotten would not be. Though despite this video's short length, I don't think it will have any significant audience at all, and even those who will start watching it are unlikely to reach this part. But hey, now this game has a place on my channel, so there's that. After all scores and weights are taken into account, the phone version of Revenge of the Sith gets a final Stasocritic rating of 20. It's not a good game, pretty much unbeatable to boot unless you use a cheat code. But if you're interested in obscure game history, maybe you'd want to try it out. Otherwise, you're better off skipping this game entirely. Though ironically enough, this is not the worst scored title you'll find on the channel, but that's only because the scoring system is relative. Some of the games that have a lower score than 20 are actually more interesting because they attempt to achieve more, even though that means they can fall harder. In a way, this makes it worse for Revenge of the Sith, because it's bad at being very conservative and safe.